A lot of people, when they're talking about, the history of Ohio State or other programs, they talk about the Mount Rushmore of a certain position. And I know you have a certain philosophy on that. So if I was to say to you, what is the Mount Rushmore of running backs, you'd probably say what?
Well, I'll tell you what, I hate that question. Let me just tell you first of all. Matter of fact, Keith Byers and I were having a conversation about that question on our way to Jeff Logan's golf outing in Canton, Ohio a couple weeks ago. We came to the conclusion that we evade the question.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to evade that question because Mount Rushmore has 4 presidents on it. I mean, you cannot boil Ohio State's tradition of running backs down to 4. I mean, we've had a boatload or a trainload of great running backs here at Ohio State University. I mean, you got to go all the way back to Chick Harley, the guy who everybody says built Ohio Stadium because of his performances. And a lot of times you see these around Mount Rushmore, they leave guys like that off. You got Les Horvath, Vic Janowitz, Hop Cassidy. A lot of times you leave those guys off. But there are a tremendous amount of running backs that's been at Ohio State that's done a terrific job and were great for the teams that they played on. And I just feel very uncomfortable leaving any of those guys out. I mean, most of the times you hear about the guys that are most recent, guys like Zeke and Dobbins and folks like that. But there's some guys in between there that were fabulous. I mean, you think about the Spencers, and certainly about the Eddie Georges, the Keith Byers, and people like that. But I can go on and on.
Right.
And so I feel it's unfair to pick a Mount Rushmore of running backs, and because we've had some great ones.
Yeah, so we'll stay away from that question.
All right.
When you hear the name Archie Griffin, one of the first things that comes up is not only that you grew up in Columbus and the impact that you had here in Columbus, but only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. But I know there are so many other things that are more significant to you in your experience here at Ohio State. Do you mind sharing a couple of those with us?
Well, absolutely. First of all, the fact that I got a quality education here was so very, very important because that's what I came to school to do, is to get a college education. Football was the vehicle I used to get the college education that I wanted. But when it comes to football and sports, having had that opportunity to play in Ohio Stadium was tremendous. And I'll never forget the first time walking out on that field, seeing those 86,000 people that were there. It was just awesome feeling. And the fact that during the time that I played and the teams that I played on, we never lost a game in Ohio Stadium. And Coach, to me, that is something that I am most proud of, is the fact that we went 4 years here without losing a game in that stadium. And I think a lot of the people that remember those teams remember that fact, and they respect the fact that those teams went 4 years without losing a game in the stadium. And certainly, you got to think about that team up north, because you always think about the team up north when you're here at Ohio State University, and the fact that we didn't lose to them either. I mean, those are a couple of things that I am, really, really proud of, and the fact always that I played on some great teams. I mean, when you talk about 2 Heisman Trophies, you don't win 2 Heisman Trophies without being on great teams. And I played on some great teams. I had some great linemen blocking for me, Big John Hicks, a guy who finished second in the Heisman voting. I can name that line: Steve Myers, Kurt Schumacher, Chris Ward. I mean, all these guys were All-Americans. And so I had a lot of All-Americans blocking for me. So it didn't make it easy for me to win a Heisman Trophy, but it helped.
Sure.
The fact that you had those great guys up front doing a great job for you, opening up those holes, giving you the opportunity to get to that second level to be able to do your thing. So I think that I was blessed to be here at the right place, the right time, with the right people.
We have recruits come in and we show them the stadium, and we say, you're going to be nervous the first time you run out of that tunnel into the shoe. They say no, but everyone, one of the last, the guys who come out of there for that first time, it's like you have that numbness.
Oh yeah, I believe that, because you don't think you will, but when you get out there, you see, my time, 86,000. Now you see 106, 107,000. It's got to be awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be unbelievable. It's got to be a great feeling, and I could just imagine how they're feeling, because I know how I felt when I went out on that stadium.
Yeah, and the great traditions that come with the game too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we've had some great traditions and continue to have some great traditions. I mean, when I think about traditions, and some of them you continuing. Certainly, I remember senior tackle. That's We did it at a time where we always did it right before the team up north, right before that game. And then, I think about traditions, the captain's breakfast. It was the captain's breakfast when we did it. I think you guys do the captain's dinner now.
We do it the night before the game.
You do it the night before the game. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's always fun. And you do it at the golf course. That tradition of going to the golf course the day before the game, having your dinner, and having those pecan rolls, those hot pecan rolls. I mean, that's something that the guys never, ever forget. As a matter of fact, I can be at a reunion now, and guys will talk about those pecan rolls, those Friday nights before the games, and those things are still very, very special. And I know that you still do that, and I think that's absolutely outstanding.
They're a little different at the golf course when they're nice and hot and fresh coming out of the oven. We actually have them on the road too.
Oh, is that right?
So we bring them on the road.
Now, do they heat them up for you?
Not so much. So sometimes they can be a little bit harder than they are at home, but we have them. They travel.
Oh, good.
But you're right about the traditions.
Yeah.
Just great traditions. You think about in the stadium, and before the game, the O, the H, the I, the O, right before that kickoff, just to make sure everybody knows that we're here and you're in Ohio Stadium.
Absolutely.
The victory bell.
Victory bell.
I didn't realize that you can hear the victory bell 5 miles radius after a win.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic.
It is.
It's great because everybody within 5 mile radius will know that the Buckeyes
just won the game. Yeah.
And back in my time, all the games weren't on TV, so people probably wouldn't know that. And if they could hear that victory bell 5 miles radius,
they knew the Buckeyes won.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And then I think you just think about all the great players, like you said, that have come before, the great coaches that have come before and played in that stadium and on that field. You just can't help but you have to hold up that standard. There's been a standard set over time.
Yep.
And all the folks that are in the stadium, they've passed this tradition down from generation to generation, and it means so much to all the people in the stadium. And that's where our guys, they feel that. And the longer they're here, the more they understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we talk about that.
And talking about traditions, I mean, the tradition that's most important is that tradition of winning. We've got that winning tradition here. And that is so, so very, very important. A tradition that everybody expects.
That's right.
And it's great to see that you've continued that tradition, and we will continue that tradition. And that's just part of who we are.
That's right.
And that's so very, very important.
That's it. And we talk about, winning is expected.
Yep.
It is.
Absolutely.
And you don't shy away from that.
That's right.
And that's where in recruiting staff, coaches, players, that's who we are. And you either see that and want to embrace that and understand the challenge that comes with that, or you don't. And it's not for everybody.
That's right. It's not for everybody. But these guys who come here and play in that stadium, they get it.
And the rewards are endless.
That's right.
I think about the opportunity here, like you said, what a great example you are growing up here in Columbus and what Ohio State has done for you, what you did for Ohio State, the balance of that. And you're just one example of what Ohio State has done and that opportunity for the rest of your life. And that's what's here.
Yeah.
And I think Ohio State offers that more than any other school in the country because of the combination of the city of Columbus, the fan base, the tradition, the power of the brand, all that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we talked about me a lot. So what about you? What brought you to Ohio State? I know Urban Meyer brought you here, but what attracted you to Ohio State?
That, competing at the highest level, it doesn't get any bigger than Ohio State. Having an opportunity to, you're trying to chase that top 1% of 1%.
Yeah.
And the stakes are high, and you're relevant, and it means everything, and everything's on the line.
Yeah.
And if you're the ultimate competitor, that's what attracts you. That adrenaline rush of just, playing in these type of environments, being around, that feel. I think the other part of it is at Ohio State, you don't have to compromise at Ohio State to go be the best in the world at what you do. The people that are here, which, I've learned, but I knew, but I learned even more. The type of recruits that we attract, but also just the people here. There's just a great feel of support here. They love the Buckeyes. There's a sense of community here. I've really felt the community in terms of, philanthropy.
Yeah.
They give back.
They do. Yeah.
And there's such a great balance between the Buckeyes and the city of Columbus and the state of Ohio and the fan base. They support each other.
Absolutely.
And that's really special. But If you had to say the first reason why I came here, it's to go try to be the best in the world at what you do, and there's no better stage than Ohio State.
We're glad you came.
Well,
I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely outstanding job. All that stuff you talked about, it travels because everywhere you go, you find Ohio State people. Everywhere you go. I ran the Alumni Association here for about 13 years, and everywhere you go, every time we send somebody out, they run into Ohio State people. Ohio State people are everywhere, and I think that's a tremendous plus for this university.
No, it is.
And it's a tremendous plus for the guys who participate in sports at this university because they've always got contacts everywhere.
That's right.
And that's important. That's important.
If you ever want to know, you just wear that Block O in any airport in America. Right?
That's right.
You're going to hit the OH coming at you.
That's right.
But you're right, and you know, we got a lot of work to be done. You know, we got a lot of goals to be accomplished this year. But the culture right now, where our team's at, the leadership, you know, the type of folks that are in the program right now, it's a good group. It's a special group. You know, when you get around these players and the coaches and the staff, you know, we got something special going. And I'm excited about this season. But as we know, you know, we're all measured against that rivalry game and you know, winning it all, winning championships. And so we certainly are embracing that, and we've had a great off season. We worked really hard. And one of the things when you look back on last year and you think about the last game, you know, you're one play away from making it to the national championship and probably having a good chance to win the national championship.
Absolutely.
And so as you think about that in the off season, we spent a lot of time talking about how there's a difference between working hard and competing. When you compete, there's a winner and a loser. And so everything we've done in the off season has been around winning and losing. Everything we do. The guys are, you know, playing cards in a locker room, they're doing everything. They do the shadow boxing now, or whatever. That's it. And we just feel like if we can find a way to win a couple more of those plays, then we'll be able to hit our goals. So we've had a good off season, but we're excited about this year.
Well, I know everybody's disappointed in the fact that we didn't win that Georgia game, but the positive side of that is we know that we're there and that we've got the talent on the team that can compete at a very, very high level that can take us back to that point. And I think that's something that people should focus on because, you know, we can be right back where we were this time next year. And this team is going to be good enough to do that.
We have a lot of guys who were in that game coming back. We played in that game the way we should play. We were aggressive. We were physical. Guys played hard. They played their hearts out. And it hurts, you know, when you come up short.
Absolutely.
But I think that gave us some momentum in the off season. And so, you know, we'll see where it takes us this year. Well, Archie, first off, always appreciate your time. We know you're busy, but, you know, we have so much respect for what you've done and the impact you've had, not only on the football program, but so many in this community. I can't tell you, since I've been here, how many people have just told me stories about the impact you've made on folks, not on the field, off the field.
Wow.
Coming down the tunnel, having conversations, going to events and charity events. And so it was a pleasure spending some time with you. Thanks so much for what you've done, what you continue to do, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Coach, thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing for our university and for the young people involved in the program, because it's been nothing but positive. And everywhere I go, I hear the same things about you. So
well, thank you.
Keep up that great work, and you know, I look forward to watching us play this upcoming season and watching us having a very, very successful season.
Well, you set the standard.
Now
we're going back to work.
That's right. Thank you.
Great seeing you.
All right.